sophomore, and I do poetry and serious. Here's my poetry. Some people think that words on a screen don't mean as much, so they have the right to be mean. Those people don't know how much it hurts to be receiving those hateful words. They don't understand the power they hold with each letter they type or word they make bold. They don't think a bit about what might come when that message receiver decides to succumb. They don't ever foresee the dreaded result of a person attacked by an online cult. The World Wide Web was not created for the ignorant to attack or the innocent hated. With every like button pressed or comment sent, you give people a taste of who you represent. Some people think that they can be mean over the web because maybe, just maybe, it doesn't hurt someone. Or maybe it doesn't hurt as much. But it does, as illustrated in Not Cool by Michelle Mosh. Anyone of any size can be a cyberbully. It could be just a kid or even an adult. You don't know who is behind those words sent. Cyberbullying is still bullying. It is still just as mean, and it definitely still hurts. Bullying has been around year after year after year, and it's only getting worse. But it's also getting easier. Bullies now have the internet to criticize others more. But the thing about now is, bullies are relentless. They push people to the breaking point or even past, and don't care if the other person harms themselves, or even if they get pushed that far, commits suicide. Cyberbullying is just as detrimental as bullying in person. Troll by Shane Clickson. Once upon a time, you and all your kind lived underneath bridges. Had bridges for ribs that dropped off into empty chests as if our hearts were all stolen treasures. As if an excavation crew were hired and dig up and remove the part of you that let you feel. And while the world invented the wheel, you stayed put, knowing that one day it would need to roll over top of you to get to where it's going. You had an endlessly flowing supply line of food. You began to brood over humanity and made meals of our hope. As if crushing our spirits would make your mirrors cast better reflections than the ones they gave. As if the only way you could save yourselves was to make the world ugly so no one would notice you hiding in it. You learned to knit pain into a kind of camouflage. You treated hope like a mirage that you could use to lure in your next meal. You lived off of our fears as if you could taste what we feel. And every night as the moon read bedtime stories to sunlight, you took darkness as an invite to head out into the world. You curled your hands into wrecking balls, your breath became squalls, you made the rocks rumble and the land shiver. You made boys and girls pray that we would deliver them from you. We told them that you aren't real. Then one day the world changed, but you all stayed the same, just migrated from living underneath bridges to living underneath information superhighways. Days and nights became meaningless. Each already deepened chest became an abyss that no one would ever find the bottom of. And concepts like love fell into your gravity. We turned ourselves into life preservers, hoping to save as many as we could. But the fathers who stood guarding closet doors and the mothers who secured the floors underneath beds all shook their heads, not knowing how to deal with you. You who crept into our lives with tongues like knives, stabbing your words into our skin. You began uploading yourselves into our homes. You had computer screens for eyes and software for bones. You turned your hate into stones and hurled them at beauty, as if you couldn't bear to see anything other than ugly, anything different. You had fingernails like flint and scraped them along decency, hoping we would be the ones to catch fire. You all had smiles like one-way barbed wire, but not meant to keep us out. Meant to keep us in. A voice like a firing pin. You spoke in explosions. It isn't cute, and it definitely isn't funny. You've talked strangers into death and laughed. And as each family learns to graft the skin over the wounds you gave them, you hem yourselves into the scar. You've coaxed the sober back into bars, handed out cigars and memorials, offered nooses, cliffs, and pills to those who unfortunately found you before they could find help. You have praised suffering, waltzed in between tragedies, gracefully dipping misery as if we would somehow be impressed with the dexterity of your animosity. You have chewed on rape, dashed through police tape as if it were the finish line in a race of who could be awful first. You somehow see this as an invite to turn your keyboards into catapults, wondering which of you can hate the best. You're loathing, already dressed in riot gear, ready to incite rage, as if each message board is a stage where you recite hostility, turning the freedom of speech into the freedom of cruelty. We are stuck with you the same way that you are stuck with you. Your mind is glue and it keeps malice fastened there like cheap wallpaper. We were once upon a time told that none of you exist, and we dismissed you as make-believe or myth. Now only armed with resolve, we can no longer afford to tell ourselves that you aren't real. We will not let you make dinners out of the things we feel.